Hey, One Life Youth, it's Pastor Mike. I hope you're having a great week. Hey, just a reminder, we are going to be meeting back at the church this next Tuesday, June 23rd. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to just hang out together. We're going to have a great time, play games. We're just going to have a lot of fun. And so make sure that you're there. Bring yourself, bring somebody with you. It'll be a lot of fun, okay? So remember, it's 7 to 8:30 is the time that we meet. I know it's been a while, so just as a reminder for that. Last week we wrapped up Esther chapter 4. We see that Esther had been issued a challenge basically by Mordecai to go to the king, to inform the king about Haman's evil plan, so that way the Jews can be saved. And Esther is facing a dilemma because she knows that if she steps into the palace, if she walks into the king's presence without being invited by the king, she is really risking her life, because the king can easily just have her killed for that single stupid little offense. And so that'd be like going to see your friend, they didn't call you, and because they didn't call you, they can kill you. That's dumb, right? And so, but this is unfortunately the way it was back then. And so Queen Esther is now having to face this decision, and so she has instructed Mordecai to pray and to fast for her. And so he pulls all these people together, begins to fast for her and to pray for her, and Esther is doing the same with her people. And so here we find in Esther chapter 5, Esther is having to make a decision to step into the destiny that God has placed in her life. Her destiny is to become queen. Her destiny is to save her people with this position of authority. And so Esther chapter 5 verse 1 on says this: On the third day of the fast, Esther put on her royal robes and entered the inner court of the palace, just across the king's hall. And the king was sitting on the royal throne, facing the entrance. And when he saw Queen Esther, standing there in the inner court, he welcomed her, and he held out the golden scepter. And so Esther approached and touched the end of the scepter. Then the king asked her, "What do you want, Queen Esther? What is your request? I will give it to you, even if it's half the kingdom." I think that's really interesting in this moment. The king has extended that golden scepter out to her. So she has made it over the first hurdle. And so now she has found favor with the king. She's in a great position to reveal her need, her desires to the king. And this is what she says. And Esther replied, "If it please the king, let the king and Haman come today to a banquet I have prepared for the king." And the king turned to his attendants and said, "Tell Haman to come quickly to a banquet, as Esther has requested." And so the king and Haman went to Esther's banquet. And while they were drinking wine, the king said to Esther, "Now tell me what you really want. What is your request, and I will give it to you, even if it's half the kingdom." Once again, students, he has created an opportunity. He has opened a door for her to reveal the true desire of her heart. The true desire of her heart is to free her people, is to bring freedom and hope and deliverance from this horrid death penalty. And so he has created this opportunity for her to step into her destiny yet again. And this is what she says in verse 7. Esther replied, "This is my request, my deepest wish. If I have found favor with the king, and if it pleases the king to grant my request, to do what I ask, please come with Haman tomorrow to the banquet I will prepare for you. Then I will explain what this is all about." Once again, she has delayed the request. However, the king now knows that there is more to more to this, and so the queen has now made a decision that she is going to reveal what her real wish is. The story would go on to say that Haman, on his way home after eating at this banquet, he's really happy, he's joyful. He just got to eat with the king and the queen by himself, got to spend some quality time with this royalty. And so when he walks across and he sees Mordecai sitting there, refusing to stand up and bow. He gets angry. However, he decides to hold back his anger for a moment. And so when he gets home, he's talking to the nobles, he's talking to his wife, and he's bragging about all the money he has, the power he has, how many children he has. He's bragging about how wonderful his life truly is. And he's telling them that he gets to go again and have a banquet with the king and queen. Only him, no one else is allowed to go. And so he's feeling pretty good about himself. But then he reveals that earlier that day, he saw Mordecai. And Mordecai continues to disobey the rules. And so his nobles and his wife go on to tell him, why don't you just sharpen a 75-foot pole, stick it in the yard, ask the king when you're at the banquet if it's okay to go ahead and impale him on that pole. And so Haman thinks this is a great idea. He's super pumped about it. And so he's like, yeah, I'm going to impale him on a pole. We're going to kill him now. It's going to be wonderful. And so that's where chapter 5 ends. It ends on a cliffhanger where Haman makes this horrid decision to bring this to the king and get permission from the king to kill Mordecai. Students, I want to encourage you with this week. You know, God calls us all to do something great. He has a plan and a future for you. He has a destiny in mind for you. You were created for a purpose. What is that purpose? I don't know, but God knows. And He's calling you to do something great. And so I want to encourage you with this. Whatever it is that God has called you to do, whatever the destiny on your life, I want you to step into that. Walk in that. Be free in that. Act in obedience, knowing what your destiny is. Whatever God's called you to do, step into that. You guys have a great week. I can't wait to see you. We'll see you this Saturday at the garage sale from 8 to 4. Don't forget to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. You don't have to be there the whole time, but try to be there if you can, okay? From 8 to 4. It'll be a great time hanging out together, getting to know our community. You guys have a great week. We'll see you real soon. Have a good night, guys.